Shayla here. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I'm going to be sharing you guys a little bit about my experience visiting the Kcra 3 Newscast Center. So this video is going to be a story time. So without further ado, I would be so extremely glad to share you guys my story of visiting Kcra 3's Newscast Center. So let's just go ahead and just hop right into the video. So Kcra 3 is a news channel. If you live in the Sacramento region area here in California, that is one of our main broadcast news stations. So right now I'm enrolled in college, and one of my classes is interpersonal communications. And for the project, it was from a professor, and she assigned us to go out and interview someone that is in the career field that we eventually would see ourselves doing in the nearby future. And for me, it was an amazing opportunity. Shout out to Professor Boyd at Tech City. She really pushed me to branch out really and go out towards speaking with someone in the field and the career path that I want to do. And as I mentioned before in my previous video, I want to be in broadcast journalism. So that is what I'm studying for in school, is to major in communications. And I eventually want to interview celebrities on the red carpet. I want to host award shows. I want to pretty much be like a TV host in the entertainment industry, but also on the side, I do want to also go in towards acting, not in like big movie role films, eventually, who knows, but as like, what's that, co-star character, or even TV shows as well. And because I also want to have my own cooking show or TV show as well. So like Wendy Williams, the Kelly Clarkson show, Dr. Phil. So yeah, but anyways, going back, so I reached out to Brian Heap. He is one of the news anchors at Kcra 3 News, and I honestly didn't think he would communicate back with me, because I understand that he's obviously crazy busy, so he's not gonna have a lot of time to, you know, check his emails or check his voicemails or anything like that. So that was what I expected. So I think it was on a school night as well. I was doing my homework, and I was on my computer, and I looked up Brian Heap's information, contact information, and on the website on Kcra 3 News, it had his email and his phone number listed down there. Or not his phone number, I'm sorry, but Kcra 3's phone number to reach them at, which is like their front desk reception area. I called and I was like, hi, my name is Shayla. I am a college student here at Sacramento City College, and I was just trying to see if I can have a moment to speak with Brian Heap for a project of mine for school. I just want to ask him a couple of questions. If he can get back to me, that would be great. And then she was like, okay, no problem. So she just transferred me over to his voicemail. I left him a voicemail. I let him know who I was, pretty much how I reinstated when I talked to the receptionist. And then, so I left him a voicemail that same night, and like around 7 p.m., I got a call from a number. And at first I wasn't gonna answer, but I was like, you know what, I'll answer. Because most of the time when unknown numbers call me, I'm like, all right, it's probably like some scam or someone calling from like the wrong number. So he called, or the number called, and then I was like, hello? And then he was like, hi, is this Sheila? And I was like, yeah. Well, people, they say my name is spelled S-H-E-L-A, so it looks like Sheila, but it actually has an accent over the E, so it's pronounced Shayla. So he was like, is this Sheila? And I was like, yeah, this is Shayla, this is she. And then he was like, hi, this is Brian Heap. I'm calling from the Kcra 3 News Center. I'm just returning your voicemail that you left for me. And then I was like, oh, snap. I was like, yes. I was honestly at this point, I tend to get tongue-tied with my words, especially if I'm like excited. So I was trying to like process like what he said to me and how to respond, because I was like, oh, yeah, this is she. Yes, hi. I was calling because I want to see if you had a little bit of spare moment in your time, is see if I can interview you for a couple questions for my communications project for school. And he was like, yeah, definitely. At first he was like, we can do it right now or the phone, or he said that we can also do it in person. And I was like, if possible, I would love to do it in person. It wouldn't take too much long of your time, but I would love to ask you 3 to 4 questions about what you do on a day-to-day basis, and to kind of get some insight on the career path that you do, because I eventually do see myself as a broadcast journalist, similar to the career field that you're already into. And he was super sweet, super chill. He was super laid back. So he was like, yeah, definitely, let's go for it. How about this? How about you come in on a day of a week of next week, and I can give you a tour of the set. I can show you a little bit more about like what we do, and we can kind of go from there, and then I can answer whatever questions that you may have for me. And he was like, how does that sound? And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. That sounds great. And then he was like, great. So we'll set up a day and time. How about Thursday at 5:30 p.m.? And I was like, oh, that's perfect. Because that day I worked from 10 in the morning to 4 p.m. So in my head, I was like, that's perfect. Because right after work, I can literally just change. Because for work, I wear uniform. So I can literally just change out of my work clothes into something different. And then I can just head down straight to the news station, which was located in the downtown area. And I was like, yeah, Thursday at 5:30 would be perfect. And he was like, great, I'll see you then. And I was like, perfect, thank you so much for your time. So that was ending. Call ended there. Then come fast forward to Thursday. So right after I got to work, I headed straight to the news station, already in my change of clothes. And I had to mentally prepare myself to like walk in there, because looking at the station from the outside was already cool in itself. And as you guys know, I'm like fascinated by anything, like especially if it's something that really interests me or that I have a passion for. So so I arrive at the station, I kind of process it, take everything in, and I'm a little nervous at this point. My heart was racing, and I was like, all right, let's do this. And I remember that day, I texted my best friend, I texted Ruth, because she was on her way to LA for Disneyland, and I was like, all right, I'm here, I'm excited, I'm low-key nervous. So then I had to kind of like take a deep breath. And I walk in, I had my notebook, my composition book with all the questions. I already wrote the questions down. I already had the questions planned and prepared. And I walked in. I spoke with the same lady that I talked to on the phone, the receptionist. And she was like, hi, how can I help you? And I was like, yes, hi, my name is Shayla, and I'm here to speak with Brian Heap for an interview. And she was like, all right. She gave me a clipboard. I filled out my name, my first and last name, who I was there to see, gave it back to her, and she was like, all right, so he'll be right with you shortly. And then I arrived, and the waiting room was so nice. I'll insert a little video clip as well, so you guys can see the waiting area. I recorded on Snapchat, obviously, so that's why it looks a little bit like, it's like in the phone view. But anyways, I sit in the waiting room, and I'm like looking around, and I'm just like, wow, like this is legit. I'm actually here at the news station. Like, holy crap, like who would have known? So I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, whew, oh my goodness, like this is it, this is happening. I think I waited for about a good like 30 minutes, which honestly, it did not seem like 30 minutes. It said like 10 minutes, because I was like looking around, like trying to take everything in. And so I sit there and look at my questions, and I'm like, okay. And in my head, I'm like, mentally, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask him this question first, and then this question, follow up with this one. So I already kind of had it planned out in my head. So then as I'm waiting there, Brian comes down. He's in a suit, obviously. And he was like, hi, are you Shayla? And I was like, yes, hi. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today. And he was like, yeah, no problem. It's my pleasure. Shook hands. And then he started to show me the tour of the news station set. So the first room that he showed me was the television room, or the producer's room. So that is where, so whenever they're on live air, they have this guy, I forgot his name, but he was one of the producers there, and as they're on air, like recording on live air, they obviously like have the little earpieces in with them. So as they're recording, the producer guy, he tells them, okay, check one, mic two. Like he'll not mumble. He'll speak words in their ear to let them know that that they're going to click over to the next like shot on camera. And it's super cool. Like I wish I recorded that part when he was giving me a tour, but I honestly, first I could have, because I was like, I don't know if they'll allow me to record, but I could have, because it was literally like the atmosphere was super chill, like super laid back, and Brian was just super sweet. So I could have, but I was just obviously in the moment. I just wanted to be in the moment. I wanted to be present, and I wanted to really listen to what he was telling me. So he showed me the control room also, and then he also showed me how they can control the what kind of commercials that they can actually have on the air. So they can also sponsor like car dealerships, like family appropriate commercials that they can control. Like that's the super cool thing. So like, let's say that they go to commercial, and then like the Pampers commercial come on for babies' diapers. They can control that. They can basically control the type of commercials that people see on the air, and then they sponsor them as well, which creates money and blah blah blah. So that was pretty cool, I thought. And then he also showed me the studio room. So I'll have a video insert there, but that was super cool. I actually got to sit on the side as they were recording the news station live. So that was super dope. I was obviously quiet the whole time, but I was just like, wow, like I can't believe that I'm actually here right now, and I'm actually on the sideline of watching them on live air. And then I also met Lisa Gonzalez. She's one of the other broadcast news anchors. I met her actually in they have like this little meeting room. So after every live show, they all meet with each other, and they talk about what it is that they could have done better, if there need to be any improvements, if there was any like technical difficulties that they had to kind of branch out and go over. So I met Lisa there. She was like super nice. And she was like, oh, well, you picked Brian. Oh, well, I guess none of us didn't fit your description for the interview. Because Brian was like, this is Shayla. She is a future journalist. And I was like, hopefully. Like, yes. And she looks exactly how she looks on TV. Like, it's awesome. Like, she's super photogenic. I also have a picture of her insert as well. And I also met with one of the other guys. He was like the main like manager there. And then Brian also was telling me and showing me the different other job positions that they have. So they have a producer, director, and they also have someone else, which is called they're at the assignment desk. That's what it's called. The assignment desk. And then he was also showing me how hard they all work to figure out what their next show will be about, like news show. But obviously at this point, it was like in March, so the coronavirus was still like all over the news. So that's also what he was talking to me about too, because I also insert at the end of this video a little bit clip of me, a little sound audio of me interviewing Brian, so you guys can kind of hear that as well. So he was also telling me, of course, everybody goes on the news nowadays and all they see is COVID-19, coronavirus, COVID-19, like it's always about that from now on. And he was like, it's very crucial and it's very important to try not to mess up on live air. And he was like, don't get me wrong, like mistakes happen, but it's very important to instantly recognize it and to also not let it basically consume you, because people, when they go on the news, they look at you for credibility, obviously, and if you don't know what you're talking about, then it kind of looks bad on you and it looks bad on the air as well. So they're like, okay, well, this person or whatever, they don't know what they're talking about. So that's one of the things that he told me when I interviewed him that really kind of stuck with me. And then he also said that, especially with the millennial world that we live in today, he said that I have an advantage because we obviously live in modern technology. YouTube, of course, it's a very easy access of a platform that you can kind of gain to have over time. And he and I also mentioned to him how I want to be in broadcast journalism and what I want to do. And he told me that I can start by creating my own YouTube channel and talking about stuff that I'm passionate about and that I kind of know a little bit more about, so I kind of like know what I'm talking about, and start becoming an intern. So I recently applied for their summer internship for the summer, and unfortunately Maria Shields, she's one of the other producer and directors there that kind of is also in charge of all of the different student summer internships. She recently emailed me back like a few days ago actually, and she said, unfortunately, due to the virus, we will be canceling the internships. However, if anything changes, I will go ahead and let you know. So that was cool because I didn't think that she would get back to me, but she did, because I mentioned in the email how I met and I personally spoke with Brian. And she told me just to basically be on the lookout, because obviously with the virus going on, no one really knows when everything is going to be officially back up and running again. So anyways, so after I went totally off track, but after I met with everyone, Brian gave me the tour, I did the interview, and then like I said, I interviewed him, and he was super sweet, super chill and laid back. He gave me some really soundproof advice that I'm still applying to this very day. And then I'm sorry if I also look like really shiny and oily. I have a lot of lotion and baby oil on. I just took a shower. But he gave me super solid advice. I will go ahead and insert a little clip of audio at the end of the video. So yeah, moral of the story is my experience of visiting the Kcra 3 news set was that it was just such an amazing experience for me to actually physically be there and to actually see the different things that they do and how much work, dedication, and like amount of like so much goes into it that a lot of people don't really see. And I think it's cool that I was able to see a behind the scenes of the different things that they do, especially after being on live air. So yeah, that was super cool, and I thought it would be super dope to share with you guys a little story time about that, because that was one of the experiences that I will say that definitely impacted me, and it brought up more motivation for me as well. So anyways, I'm gonna stop babbling, and I'm gonna insert the little clip, the video, and thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, new videos from me will be every Tuesday. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for me down below, and yeah, stay blessed, y'all, and thank you. Bye-bye. So first question is, can you tell me a bit about your career path and what led you to the role that you're in today?
Okay. So I knew at a really young age that this is what I wanted to do. I pretty much knew in about junior high school that this is what I wanted to do.
Oh.
I originally set out to do sports, and I did it for a while. But I just kind of shifted the career path down more of a news focus as I early in my career. But so what I did is I went to San Diego State, as you know, and I majored in the communications program there. It's a very good program. I don't know how they do it now, but at the time I think they had it was all under the School of Communications, but they had it sort of broken down. They had a broadcasting field that you could go into, more of a print journalism field that you could go into, and a couple of other different options. So I did that, did a few programs through there while I was in school, and shortly after school started doing some internships. I interned at a radio station for a while, and that was really helpful for me actually, because even though I work in television, the time I spent in radio helped me to understand how to tell a story more quickly. And that was really, it was an important thing, because for example, in radio, if you ever listen to a talk radio station or a news radio station, their newscasts are very short, right?
Yes.
They don't take 30 minutes to tell you the news. They take 2 minutes.
Right.
3 minutes tops. So you have to learn how to tell a story in about 20 seconds.
Yeah. Oh.
And so it prepared me for really learning how to be succinct and learning how to just be very conversational in the way I told a story.
Right.
And so I did that for a while, got some experience there. Then I went over to another radio station, and I actually got hired after I graduated from college. So my first job there was producing the news, sort of like what I told you our producers do. I was the one responsible for gathering